In the 4th year of my engagement to Hubert, his first love returned to China after getting divorced. He showed up at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau with her in tow. By the time I arrived, she was leaning against his shoulder, facing me with a slight sneer, holding the bright red marriage certificate in her hand, looking like a victor. I stood there, neither crying nor making a fuss. Hubert, what was my 4 years worth? Hubert turned around and saw me, his brows furrowed tightly, without a trace of guilt. Jasmine is pregnant. The child needs a legitimate status. When she gives birth to the child, I'll give you an explanation. I smiled wanly. It was only when I turned around that I suddenly realized that my 4 years of youth had been wasted. Hubert suddenly couldn't find me. He bombarded my mobile phone with calls, but arrogantly thought that I was just being sulky. She can't live without me. In 3 days, within 3 days, she'll surely come back to me obediently. Until 3 days later, a hot topic suddenly topped the Weibo search list. Hashtag the young master of the Jing circle got married in a flash to the famous socialite Willow from Jiangqing hashtag, and the attached pictures even showed the marriage certificate and an extremely expensive diamond ring. That night, I was completely overwhelmed by Zach's passionate advances. I watched helplessly as Hubert pounded on the door outside the video doorbell in the pouring rain. He had gone completely crazy. At the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Hubert held Jasmine's tear-stained face in his hands and comforted her lovingly. Be good, don't cry. Just have the baby in peace. I'll be a good father. He kissed her trembling lips gently, as if he couldn't be careful enough. I happened to arrive just then, but my feet seemed to be glued by cement and couldn't move. Jasmine looked up and saw me right away. A fierce and smug look flashed in her eyes. The marriage certificate in her hand was even more glaringly red. She hugged Hubert tightly and cried even more piteously, "Ah Shu, I never thought of destroying your relationship with Willow. I even wanted to keep this secret forever. We'd been engaged for 4 years but hadn't gotten married, yet at this critical moment, he got his first love pregnant. Hubert, you're really something." Jasmine pretended to be flustered and reminded Hubert, "Ah Shu, Willow is here." Hubert turned around calmly, without a trace of guilt on his face. Instead, he even shielded Jasmine behind him. My heart suddenly turned cold. In this situation, did he still regard me as a fierce beast that would bully his first love? I swallowed my bitterness and waited for Hubert to give me an explanation. However, he just frowned slightly and had an arrogant attitude. Jasmine is pregnant. The child needs a legitimate status. When she gives birth to the child, I'll give you an explanation. Hubert and I fell in love in college and had been engaged for 4 years. I had always believed that he was my best destination. Later, I found out that he had a first love buried deep in his heart, someone he loved but couldn't be with. After being engaged for 4 years and still not getting married, I think Hubert still hasn't forgotten that woman. How could he forget? That's Jasmine. She grew up with Hubert since childhood, like childhood sweethearts. She gave everything to Hubert. If Hubert's family hadn't disagreed with them being together and his mother hadn't threatened to take her own life, they would have gotten married long ago. Who made Hubert's family take a fancy to the family background of the Willow family? Our Hubert is also a smart person. Since he couldn't have Jasmine, he found someone suitable instead. So, I was just the second choice. My wholehearted devotion now seemed like nothing but a joke. Actually, I should have known it was a joke long ago, on the night when he left me and went to Seattle a year ago. Ah Shu, please don't go, okay? My parents finally came here from Jiangqing. I wanted to talk about our marriage. But before I could say those words, he interrupted me eagerly. Jasmine is in a very bad mood. If I don't go, she might jump off a building. He completely ignored my shock at hearing that name in his eyes and didn't have the slightest intention to explain. The last smile he forced out was just to comfort me. Be good. As long as I make sure she's okay, I'll come back and marry you right away. I thought he'd be back soon. I thought that Jasmine was also from Jingzhou. Later, I found out that he went to the United States. At that moment, the only dark thought in my mind was that Jasmine, with her decision to commit suicide in a moment, was able to wait for the time of a flight for Hubert's sake. That night, I had a sudden heart attack and was rushed to the hospital. My parents and his parents called my name over and over again. But when I was unconscious in my dream, I still murmured Hubert's name over and over again. I knew he wouldn't come back right away, but neither he nor I expected that he would be gone for a whole year. What was even more unexpected was that he came back and got married to Jasmine. I didn't ask him whether the child in Jasmine's belly was his. I looked at the simple engagement ring on the middle finger of my left hand that I hadn't had the heart to take off and smiled indifferently. This is the ring you put on my finger with your own hands when we got engaged. Now, I'm giving it back to you. Hearing this, Hubert didn't take it. I've said that when she gives birth to the child, I'll give you an explanation. He didn't say that I would divorce her and marry you. I looked at him and the slightly nervous Jasmine beside him and shook my head. Hubert, none of the three of us will believe your words, will we? He looked at me indifferently, and a flash of anger appeared in his eyes. Probably, he thought that I had never disobeyed him like this in all these years. Hubert, here's the ring. I'm breaking off our engagement with you. From now on, we're strangers. I stuffed the ring into the breast pocket of his suit and turned around resolutely. Willow, say that again. Hubert's tone showed displeasure, which made me want to laugh. Jasmine saw the unusual emotion of the man beside her and quickly reached out to grab him. Shoo, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. She then looked at me with teary eyes. Willow, it's all my fault. I was so bewitched. What kind of person am I? How could I have such delusions? Jasmine, don't be afraid. This has nothing to do with you. Shoo, let's get divorced right now. It's all my fault. I'm just a hated jinx. Hubert was busy comforting Jasmine. I watched coldly the last bit of connection between me and this man. Then I turned around and left calmly. Shoo, go after Willow quickly. Don't let her misunderstand you. She's the right one for you. Hubert might have looked back at me, but in the end he didn't come after me. But it didn't matter anymore because I couldn't wait any longer. I must get pregnant with a boy as soon as possible. On my way back, I received a call from the hospital. My father's condition was very bad. The medications for his treatment hadn't been effective and he probably wouldn't survive for more than 3 months. I rushed into the hospital in a panic. All I saw was my father forcing a smile while my mother was secretly wiping her tears beside him. Don't cry. Willow will be here soon. Don't let her worry. I only have this one daughter. I must hold on. I want to see her get married and have children. My father comforted my mother and wiped her tears. I hid in the corridor, clenched my fists tightly, gritted my teeth, and didn't dare to cry out loud. It was as if there was a fierce beast living in my heart. I completely changed from my usual cute and gentle image and wanted to tear off the skin and burst out. I quickly wiped away my tears and hid in the fire escape, then made a phone call. At 8 o'clock tonight, room 707. I'll be waiting for you. On the other end of the phone, Zach hung up the phone with a smug smile on his lips. His assistant Paul put away the documents, knowing that his boss definitely wouldn't be in the mood to work at this moment. President Zach, for the outfit prepared for you this time, do you want the cute puppy style or the wild wolf dog style? The innocent college student look or the naughty and stylish look? Zach just beckoned with his finger and a female secretary pushed a row of clothes over and then retreated respectfully. Zach picked out a smoky gray shirt and casually paired it with a pair of distressed ripped jeans. Does it look like a duck that makes people feel desirous and easy to overpower? Paul. In the afternoon, I returned to the company. The elders of the group filled the entire conference room, looking down on me, the young female chairperson who had taken over in a critical situation. I knew that the cold and cruel power struggle would start sooner or later. Willow, while the Willow family is still worth something, you should transfer your father's shares. We won't treat you unfairly with what we should give you. Exactly. If your father passes away, those stocks in your hands will be worthless. Besides, in our Willow family, women have never been in charge. These were the family brothers and elders who had always been loyal to my father on weekdays. Dear uncles and elders, before my father was hospitalized, he had an agreement with you. As long as I can give birth to a boy, the Willow family will still be in charge. Now, whether there's a child in my belly or not is really uncertain. Why don't you elders wait patiently? I originally thought that you and the second young master of the Hubert family would have a good result. Now I've heard that the second young master of the Hubert family has already married someone else. I don't think there's any hope for you to have a child. Without the support of the Hubert family, how long can the Willow family last? Or, I can also transfer the shares in my hands to the Zack family. Although the Zack family is an enemy of the Willow family, they've always been coveting the development rights of the Willow family's Holiday Bay in Highshire. Moreover, what the Zack family can offer will definitely not be less than what you elders can offer. After I said this, these old vultures on the opposite side were shocked. How dare you betray the family? I didn't say anything more and just asked the secretary to see them out. During the period when my father's condition worsened, I had nightmares every night. Coupled with Hubert's betrayal, I was already exhausted. I listened to those people swearing and saying that they had never seen me so domineering before, but I just sneered. Even a dog will jump over a wall when cornered, let alone a person? The Zack family. Actually, I didn't know much about it. I only heard that Zack, the new head of the Zack family, was a playboy. As soon as he returned to China, he firmly took the top position among the big shots in the Jing circle. If it wasn't necessary, I wouldn't want to have any connection with such a dangerous person. At 7 o'clock in the evening, in order to get used to the bustling and flashy atmosphere in advance, I arrived at the Dynasty Hotel early. In the bar on the basement floor, the noisy music, manic cheers, and frivolous whistles flooded towards me like a tide. I didn't expect to run into Jasmine here. She was holding a wine glass, dressed scantily, and swayed over. She didn't look like a pregnant woman at all. Willow, I didn't expect to meet you here. You're such a lady from a noble family. I didn't expect you to come to a bar either. What's going on? Could it be that you're so heartbroken that you're here to drown your sorrows in alcohol? She wasn't afraid of meeting me here at all. That arrogant and sanctimonious look on her face instantly made me feel sick. I didn't tie Ashu up. He wanted to marry me on his own. After I give birth to the child, he'll still be yours. She leaned close to me and the pungent smell of alcohol made me feel nauseous. However, feel it. Look at my belly. Does it look like I'm pregnant? He's always been devoted to me. Even if I tell him everything now, he still won't let me go. That's the magic of first love. She staggered towards me and I pushed her away with my hand. Such a disgusting two-faced person, don't come near me. Aren't you afraid that I'll record this and show it to Hubert? So what if he sees it? When I got the marriage certificate with him, I didn't ask for a penny from him. I have to make a living. I deliberately hid it from him and promoted alcohol here. When he knows about it, he'll only love me more. He just loves my pride of not bowing to men. I was really impressed by her strange way of thinking. I didn't want to get entangled with her, so I decided to leave. At the elevator entrance, the figure in a neat suit looked like Hubert. How did he find this place? Willow, I know you're angry with me, but please don't tell Ashu. I also have my difficulties. It's my fault. I'm despicable. But I don't want Ashu to think that I'm a woman who covets his money. I'm just promoting alcohol here and didn't do anything else. At this moment, Jasmine was crazily clinging to me and wouldn't let go. Step by step, we walked to the artificial pool beside us. Jasmine. Before I could react, accompanied by a shrill scream, Jasmine accidentally fell into the water. Although the water wasn't deep, it was inevitable that Jasmine would choke on the water and get hurt. I watched helplessly as Hubert jumped into the pool and lovingly carried Jasmine out. He looked at me with resentful eyes as if I were the most evil and vicious woman in the world, and Jasmine weakly nestled in Hubert's arms, coughing while looking at me with a sinister and sly smile. Willow, this is your fault. We could have talked it over nicely. Jasmine is pregnant. Hubert didn't say that he wouldn't marry you. If you were more magnanimous about this, it wouldn't be a big deal. The few people who came with him were his childhood friends that I knew and were close to Hubert. What they said made my head ache. Apologize to Jasmine. It was Hubert's icy voice. Apologize? Where on earth did he come from? What an idiot and asshole. Just when I was feeling as sick as if I had swallowed a fly and was about to refute, sister. Not far behind me, a slightly familiar male voice called me. I turned around and saw a young man wearing a gray shirt and ripped jeans. He looked a bit ruffian but also had a hint of shyness. To be exact, he looked more like a boy in his early 20s. It was Jason, a male college student I had just met some time ago. His financial situation was not good and he needed money, so his job was rather special. He walked over, hooked my arm naturally, and stood beside me affectionately. Sister, you're early. I originally wanted to shake off his arm, but when I saw Hubert's gloomy eyes fixed on Jason, I somehow didn't push him away. I held his hand instead and intertwined my fingers with his. I was afraid that you'd come early and wait for me, so I thought I'd come to see you earlier. I answered nonchalantly, but just happened to meet Hubert's gloomy and sharp eyes. He stared at me without blinking, as if he wanted to burn a hole through me. I suddenly didn't want to stay at the dynasty anymore. Why don't you come home with me tonight? I tiptoed and leaned close to this tall guy who looked kind of cute, completely ignoring Hubert. He was a married man. Why should he have any say in my affairs? Whatever sister says. The man's peach blossom eyes slightly raised, and he put his arm around me and disappeared into the noise of the bar. Hubert, is Willow serious about this? Am I seeing things? How could Willow fool around with a man other than Hubert? And he's such a young man? Of course Hubert wouldn't let it go. He was about to chase after us, but Jasmine tightly grasped him and pretended to be pitiful. Ah shoo, I feel so uncomfortable. I can't breathe. After saying that, she blacked out and fainted. A luxurious single apartment on the second ring road was bought for me by my father when I just entered college. The elevator went all the way to the 10th floor, and then Jason kissed me all the way to the door of the apartment, pinching my body. Room 1002. He seemed to be more familiar with this place than I was, but I had never brought him here before. His kissing skills were excellent, which made me so dizzy that I couldn't think about these doubts at all. Unlock it. His hoarse voice couldn't hide his desire. He hooked my finger and put it on the door lock. With a click, the door opened. The pitch-dark room swallowed both of us up. All through the night, except for my almost pleading moans, I couldn't hear clearly what he was whispering in my ear at all. In the early morning of the next day, I almost fell apart and only vaguely fell asleep. I was woken up by the noisy ringtone of my mobile phone. I grabbed my phone and took a look. Hubert had been calling me all night. But strangely enough, why didn't I hear a single sound last night? Hello? I answered the phone, and my hoarse voice startled me. Where are you? I've been calling you all night. Why didn't you answer? He was furious, but I found it ridiculous. Just say what you want. If there's nothing, I'll hang up. Willow, don't you dare hang up. I impatiently rolled my eyes and decisively hung up the phone. What was there that I didn't dare to do now? It seemed that he was calling again on the other end. I threw the phone aside and got out of bed. My inner thighs were still aching, indicating the madness of last night. A touch of red on the white bedsheet made me daze for a moment, but I quickly let it go after just a few seconds. I was in my ovulation period. I hoped that Jason could help me get pregnant smoothly last night. I looked around. He was already gone. These didn't matter anyway. Anyway, I asked him to come just to have a child and didn't want to get into trouble. At noon, I received a call from my mother. I thought something was wrong with my father. But when I rushed to the hospital, I found out that it was because of the matter that Hubert and Jasmine got their marriage certificate. It had caused a stir on Weibo. A small account posted the marriage certificate of Hubert and Jasmine. In the photo, the person holding the marriage certificate deliberately showed their hand, with a pink diamond of about several carats on it, and there was also a jade bracelet on the wrist. I recognized this bracelet. Hubert's mother had planned to give it to me on our wedding day. It was a treasured heirloom of the Hubert family. Hubert, you really disgust me. Besides the person involved, who else would expose this kind of thing? Everyone in the Willow family knew about it. I had originally planned to hide it from my parents. Now that I thought about it, there was no way to hide it forever. My father was so angry that he coughed up blood. My mother was crying while saying that Hubert was a bad guy. Willow, what should we do now? If the Hubert family withdraws their investment, Mom, he and I have indeed broken up. But according to the agreement between Dad and those shareholders, as long as I give birth to a boy, I can still be in charge of the Willow family. You've only had Hubert all these years. Mom has always known that you two were innocent. How could you? Maybe I'm already pregnant. When the time is right, we can have a blood test. As long as I'm pregnant, regardless of whether it's a boy or a girl, I'll have the capital to negotiate. My parents thought I was crazy and that I had randomly found a man just for the Willow family. The Willow family is Dad's hard work. I won't let it go. I didn't know how Jasmine found out about my father's ward, but she actually found this place. Uncle, Aunt, Ashu and I really love each other. Please, and Willow's sister, please let us be together. I didn't expect her to be so shameless and dare to harass my parents. I grabbed her by the hair as she was pretending to be pitiful and kneeling on the ground and dragged her out of the ward. Jasmine, don't think that I'm easy to bully and won't hit you. In Jiangcheng, I can't say for others, but if I really want to deal with you, you won't have an easy life. Jasmine had never seen me like this before and was a bit intimidated for a moment. Just then, Jason changed into clean and formal clothes and arrived at the ward entrance with a fruit basket in his hand. Is this the young man you were with last night? Jasmine's mocking face was so exaggerated that her mouth almost reached her ears. I gave Jason a warning look. What was he up to? Uncle, Aunt, actually, my family is very strict. When they found out that I did something improper, so, I'm here today to talk about getting married with you too. I couldn't make sense of what my father said. I couldn't even listen to what Jason said, but the result was that I had to be responsible for him, and my father also told me to own up to what I had done. When we went out, Jasmine was like a piece of sticky plaster that couldn't be shaken off. She completely lost the weak and pitiful look she had in the ward and kept mocking me. Actually, a young man is quite good. He's sensible and obedient. He suits you quite well. If Ashu knew that you really chose a gigolo, I wonder what he would think. How is his skill in bed? Is it any good? Finally, she leaned close to me. Although she lowered her voice, the people nearby could still hear more or less. This time, I didn't show any mercy. I grabbed her hair and warned her, no matter what, I'm cleaner than you. No matter how good Hubert is in your eyes, he's just a stupid blind man. You two, a bitch and a dog, are a perfect match. On the way to the Civil Affairs Bureau by car, I couldn't stop my tears for some reason. Jason noticed it and asked, "Do you like Hubert that much?" This was the first time he mentioned this name and the first time he talked to me without calling me sister. I looked at him in confusion. He doesn't deserve you. As he said that, he took out a cigarette. I never knew that he smoked, although he didn't light it. This man, why did he seem to have changed after just one night? I couldn't understand him. It didn't matter if I told him. I briefly told him how I started with Hubert. Actually, I wasn't really unable to let go of Hubert now. I just thought that the past 4 years were a bit of a pity. Suddenly, he reached out and gently stroked my wet cheek with his thumb, so carefully and tenderly. When we arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau, we got our marriage certificates in just 5 minutes. I was absent-minded. I only saw that Jason took both marriage certificates and put them away, as if I would suddenly change my mind and ask for a divorce from him. However, there seemed to be something wrong with the marriage certificates. Jason, give me my marriage certificate. Honey, I'll give it to you when we get back. I'll keep it for now. He reached out and rubbed my hair like petting a puppy. Apart from the indulgence in his tone, there was no longer the respect and obedience towards sister that he had before. It seemed that the boy had suddenly grown into a man. Don't tell me you'll become a different person just because we got married? He had never treated me like this before, even though we had only met 3 times. Before, you were my sister, so I had to be obedient. Now, you're my wife, and of course I'll spoil you and won't let others bully you. What he said didn't sound very convincing. It's not that I didn't respect him, but as a man, he really, when it came to personal wealth. Of course, the fact that I chose to marry him proved that I wasn't someone who cared much about money. Jason seemed to be able to see through my thoughts. I guiltily turned my head away. Let's go home first. I'll show you our wedding house. This man actually had a wedding house? I could hardly believe it. After getting in the car, Jason drove while I took a rest in the passenger seat. The phone rang again. It was Hubert. I impatiently hung up, but he kept calling persistently. What do you want? I asked impatiently. But he still had that haughty interrogative tone. Where were you last night? Were you fooling around with that young man? The young man you mentioned is now my lawful husband. Hubert, it's none of your business. I've already broken off our engagement with you. We have nothing to do with each other anymore. I didn't agree to break off the engagement. Besides, I've explained to you about what happened between me and Jasmine. Is he crazy? He's already married someone else, but he still doesn't agree to break off the engagement with me? I know you don't like Jasmine, Willow. It's true that we had a 4-year relationship, but after all, she's someone I once liked. Don't be so unreasonable. I've seen the information on Weibo. Jasmine just didn't want her ex-husband to harass her again. I know you might be angry. When this passes, I'll clarify this matter with you on Weibo. I was so angry that I couldn't help laughing. So my 4 years were wasted, not on a dog, but on a pig. I'll go to the Willow family to find you. You just wait for me there obediently. Don't come to the Willow family, and I won't wait for you there either, Hubert. It's over between us. You and Jasmine should stay together forever. I wish you a happy marriage for 100 years. So that you won't bring trouble to others. Hubert couldn't believe what I said. He seemed to be extremely angry with me and was still babbling on the other end of the phone. I simply hung up and blocked him. Jason squinted at me from the side, with a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. I had never lost my composure like this in front of him before, so I pretended that nothing had happened, smoothed the bangs on my forehead, and looked out of the car window a bit awkwardly. After that, Jason drove and I fell into a drowsy sleep. When I opened my eyes again, everything in front of me completely shocked me. The ultra-luxurious villa covering thousands of square meters seemed to suddenly fly from outer space right in front of my eyes, leaving me dumbfounded. 2 rows of servants in uniforms lined up, bowed at a respectful 90 degrees, and shouted in unison, "Young madam." My Willow family in Zhongcheng was already a quite wealthy and powerful family, but now, in front of this giant, it seemed insignificant. Is Zach back? Hurry up and let me take a look at my beautiful, kind-hearted, charming, and lovely granddaughter-in-law. An old man leaning on a cane walked over energetically. Zach? I couldn't believe it as I savored these 2 words. Finally, I couldn't help but take out the 2 marriage certificates that he had been treasuring and hiding in his back pocket. The name of the male certificate holder was clearly written as Zach. Jason, Zach. Why didn't I think of that? He was 2 years older than me according to the year on his ID card. This scoundrel of a man actually dared to deceive me. You're committing marriage fraud. In the room for the 2 of us, I angrily reprimanded him, but I didn't dare to shout loudly to avoid disturbing the people of the Zach family. Zach was clearly more relaxed in his own home. He took a shower and changed into a set of home clothes that looked low-key but were actually very expensive. His whole temperament was completely different from that of Jason before. He was gentle and confident yet also more domineering. Marrying me is much more practical than marrying Hubert. Not to mention that the wealth and power of the Zach family can help the Willow family out of its crisis. More importantly, he glanced at me, pinned my hands behind my back, and pushed me onto the big bed. I'm good in bed and won't waste such a good thing. His hoarse voice made my scalp tingle. I couldn't control myself and bit him on the neck. So, you're like a dog. He chuckled slightly and reached under my clothes, kissing me until I could hardly breathe. That feeling was like my whole body was on fire and about to explode. Before losing control, Zach finally let me go. Get up. I have something for you. What is it? He gently stroked my hair with a smile, the betrothal gifts. Since we hadn't held the wedding ceremony yet, I felt a bit embarrassed to stay at the Zach family. On the way back, looking at the pile of things Zach gave me, I couldn't help but giggle. The transfer letter of the shares under Zach's name in the Zach family, the real estate of the Zach family, and a big box of extremely precious jewelry given by Grandpa. Everything seemed so unreal. In the evening, my best friend June came to find me. She probably saw those disgusting things that Jasmine had spread online and rushed back from another city. I was just on a business trip for a few days. How did you and Hubert end up like this? How did he marry Jasmine? He married her. He liked her all along anyway. You were with him for 4 years. Why are you so calm about it now? June teased as she sipped her special cocktail. I wasn't paying attention to her. Zach said he had an engagement in the evening and was still sending me messages at the moment. What's wrong with your neck? I deliberately wore a turtleneck today, but the hickey left by Zach was still hard to hide. Damn it, Willow. Whose hickey is this? You can't just do this to get revenge on him. I didn't. I'm married. It's legal. June. When June found out who the man I married was, she almost wanted to hug my thigh and cling to me. How could it be Zach? He just returned to China. He's a hotshot in the Beijing circle. Ordinary women can't even touch a strand of his hair. How did you manage to win him over? You've really traded up. No, compared to Zach, Hubert isn't even worth a sesame seed. He's not even as good as the dandruff between Zach's toes. You're exaggerating a bit too much. I listened. Although what she said was a bit crude but made sense. Actually, I didn't feel too sad about Hubert in my heart. Sure enough, God is fair. You're lucky to marry Zach because of a misfortune. Does Hubert know about this? I shook my head. There was no need to deliberately tell him about it. Just then, suddenly many big V bloggers on Weibo broke the news that a young married woman with the surname F was like a slut abroad, with a loose lifestyle and countless scandals. Although her face was mosaicked, June and I could tell at a glance that this young married woman with the surname F was Jasmine. The media even publicized the fact that Jasmine and Hubert had got married before. Almost all the comments were mocking Hubert for treating someone else's cast-off as a treasure. I took a sip of my non-alcoholic drink. Although I wasn't particularly interested, after all, the person involved was Hubert and my feelings for him over the years were real, so I couldn't completely ignore it. In the private room 2 corridors away, Hubert was holding his phone and couldn't believe that all this was true. But he couldn't care about that now. Willow had been hanging up on his calls and even blocked him. This was different from the past. He was vaguely worried but didn't want to admit it. After drinking one glass of liquor after another, his friends around him advised him, "It seems that Willow really doesn't want to contact you anymore, Hubert. She won't really leave you, will she?" Impossible. Whenever there was a little conflict between us in the past, which time wasn't it that Willow took the initiative to make up? I don't think so this time. After all, Hubert has married someone else. Legally speaking, it's already a settled matter. Which woman would be so magnanimous as to acquiesce in her fiancé's marrying someone else and then still go chasing after him? Hubert, you didn't do the right thing. Hubert was just helping Sister Jasmine out of kindness. They'll get divorced in the future anyway. Another childhood friend of his had the nerve to say so. Just wait and see. I don't think Willow will come back to you. Hubert didn't say anything. He just listened to all these noisy voices, which gave him a headache. He drank even more, and his heart became even more irritable. Most importantly, he couldn't find any information about that man. He was confident that Willow was just angry with him and wouldn't really find a random man to have a relationship with. June and I had drunk about the same amount. Zach sent me a WeChat message, asking for the address and saying that he would come to pick me up. I wanted to refuse at first, but June insisted on seeing what this mysterious man looked like, so I agreed. Did you have contact with Zach before? Otherwise, why would he go to such lengths to marry you? Even June sensed something unusual. How could I not be suspicious? At the corner of the corridor, we ran into one of Hubert's childhood friends. Willow? Are you here to find Ashu? He's in the private room at the end. He's drunk a lot. Do you want to talk to him? Xander, I'm not here to find Hubert. I broke up with him. His business should be with Jasmine. I walked past him but suddenly stopped. You tell him not to come looking for me. Since he's married, he should live his life well. That's my sincere advice. After saying that, I left, leaving Xander standing there in a daze. Three-legged toads are hard to find, but two-legged men are everywhere. After leaving you, this scoundrel, our Willow has found a better one. With a bit of drunkenness, June wasn't afraid of offending Hubert, the nobleman in Jiangcheng. After all, the Zhak family would be an even bigger backer in the future. The moment the elevator doors closed, Hubert happened to come out. I just saw Willow, Hubert. She really seems to have left you. Hearing this, Hubert chased after her like crazy and hurriedly pressed the elevator button. Suddenly, it started raining heavily outside, as if the sky had sprung a leak. Hubert's mobile phone rang suddenly. Looking at the name flashing on it, he hesitated for a few seconds before answering it. Ashu, can you come and keep me company now? I'm so scared. Mike said he's coming to China to find me. Mike was Jasmine's ex-husband. Hubert clenched his mobile phone tightly. At that moment, a Maybach sped past him. Through the curtain of rain, he could still clearly see that sitting in the passenger seat was Willow. With a license plate starting with Jing A and the number 1111, a bad premonition came over him. Jasmine, be good. I'm busy right now. I'll come to see you when I'm done with my business. This was the first time Hubert hung up on Jasmine and said no to her. After taking a shower, I took a short rest on the sofa. My mind was still filled with the messy affairs on Weibo and what Xander had said. Zach had also finished taking a shower. After getting the marriage certificate, he became even more unrestrained in my house. Thinking about your ex-fiancé? He fiddled with my hand, moved closer to me, and wanted to be affectionate with me. Strangely enough, I didn't feel like refusing him at all. Suddenly, it seemed as if we had known each other for a long time, and our auras matched surprisingly well. But I really didn't know him before. Zach, did we know each other before? I put down my mobile phone and looked at him doubtfully. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of my phone screen and then casually took something out of his pocket and put it on my ring finger. The light blue pear-shaped main diamond was surrounded by dazzling pink diamonds, elegant, eye-catching, and priceless. Want to be on the hot search? Only a click was heard. He took a picture of something with his mobile phone and then it caused a huge stir all over the internet. I rarely posted anything on my Weibo account and very few people knew about it. Usually, I just used it to browse around casually. But at this moment, my Weibo backstage seemed to be in an uproar. My WeChat also started to lag, and the unread messages were all over 99 plus. And the main idea of all the messages was, "Sister, you must be a goddess sent from heaven. You must have accumulated great virtue in your past life to meet such a good man who has money, good looks, is capable, and can handle things. Hubert is such a blind and trashy scumbag. Even God can't stand it. Zach, what on earth did you do?" I opened Weibo in horror and saw the top trending topic. Hashtag the young master of the Jing circle got married in a flash to the famous socialite Willow from Jiangqing hashtag with the word explosive behind it. I clicked on it, and the person posted a few casual words, "I won't pretend anymore. I'm taken." There were 3 pictures attached. One was taken at some unknown time, showing my bite mark on his neck, which was both enchanting and charming. The second one was the picture of him and me holding hands tightly just now, with that dazzling diamond ring. The third one was 2 marriage certificates with only the ID numbers mosaicked. Of course, there was also an at Willow XYL. Is it real or fake? Did you really manage to win over your junior schoolmate? After so many years, you finally got what you wanted. Didn't Willow like Hubert? The one who married that slut before? Congratulations to our President Zach. Don't forget us when you hold the wedding banquet. Zach's WeChat interface also had a lot of people sending their blessings. I didn't see it very clearly, but one thing I was sure of was that he had been plotting to approach me for a long time. But why didn't I have any impression of him at all? Suddenly, there was a rapid knock on the door. I put down my mobile phone and got up to see who it was. Under the video doorbell, Hubert stood there looking disheveled, knocking on the door nonstop. I turned around and looked at Zach on the sofa. I found that I didn't want to open the door. Willow, open the door. I know you're inside. Let's talk. Okay? His tone softened for the first time since I'd known him. Hubert, I have nothing to talk to you about. Just go. I'll divorce Jasmine. I really got the marriage certificate with her just because I wanted to help her. But none of that mattered anymore. After 4 years, I suddenly realized that my heart didn't hurt anymore. Hubert, did you really love me? Have you ever loved me? Hubert listened through the door and suddenly felt a dull pain in his heart. He saw the negative news about Jasmine on the internet. He thought he would be angry and couldn't bear it, but he wasn't. When I had a sudden heart attack, you left me and walked away. I was finally so happy to get engaged to you, but I waited for 4 years and still couldn't wait for your wedding. On countless dark nights, as long as Jasmine made a phone call, you always chose to leave me in the dark. When the Willow family was in trouble, I just wanted you to stand by my side and give me a little support, so that I could know that I could still hold on. But where were you? In 4 years, I'm not a piece of wood. I'm a living person with flesh and blood. I'm a person who wholeheartedly loved you. I thought that even if you were a stone, it would get warm after being held for a while. I didn't expect that I would say these words so calmly. But I should have known earlier that a stone just won't get warm, and even if it does, it will cool down again. Hubert stood outside, looking dying and indifferent as if pierced by thousands of arrows. He had been chasing after Jasmine all the time. How could he have thought of Willow's pain? And how could he have thought of his own pain at this moment? I'm married. I won't invite you to my wedding. I respect your choice, whether you're happy or not. At this moment, Zach suddenly got up, gently but domineeringly pinned me against the door panel. It was like a catharsis, or as if he wanted to prove something, or maybe to comfort me. Soon, the sound of our passionate kisses spilled from our lips. I passionately grabbed him, leaving marks on him one after another. Hubert went crazy. He kept pounding on the door, shouting, and emphasizing that I didn't love the man in front of me at all. I wasn't doing it out of revenge, but still firmly pressed the button on the video doorbell to let him hear the sounds clearly. The sounds of me and Zach reached his ears. I dealt the final blow. You're wrong. I love him. I'm not a fool. Don't you forget all the harm you've done to me over the years, one by one? I won't always wait for your occasional pity and charity. His appearance has made me understand a truth. The man I don't love now is you, because you don't deserve it. The wedding of me and Zach caused a sensation in the whole Jiangqing and Jingzhou. The entire wealthy circle came to our wedding to offer their congratulations. Hubert didn't come, but the Hubert family didn't want to give up such a social opportunity and didn't want to offend the Zach family either. So the elders sat in the most inconspicuous corner. Taking advantage of the moment when I was going to change my dress, the aunt of the Hubert family grabbed my hand. Willow, Ashu knows he's wrong. Could you? I mean, for the sake of your past relationship, go and see him, persuade him. It's not a good thing if he keeps being so decadent and haggard. Willow. My mother saw me and quickly came to support me. Thanks to Zach, my father went to a top hospital abroad for treatment, and his condition was well controlled. He could still live for another 3 to 5 years. Why are you standing here alone? Don't stand for too long, or you might harm the fetus. Hearing that I was pregnant, Aunt Sue's face was so embarrassed that she couldn't hide it. Back then, when she heard that Jasmine was pregnant, she actually agreed to their marriage. After all, it was the Hubert family who was unkind in this matter, and now they ended up with nothing. The child in Jasmine's belly isn't Ashu's. They've already divorced, Willow, you. Jasmine wasn't pregnant. She told me so herself. Auntie, today is my wedding, and I'm glad you could come. As for others, they're all adults and should be responsible for their own actions. In the evening, Zach and I stayed in the big mansion. Zach couldn't wait to kiss me all over. When he was aroused, he wanted to do something more, but because of the baby, he could only hold himself back. I straddled him, cupped his face in my hands, and deliberately teased him, "Zach, when exactly did you start having designs on me?" Zach was both amused by me and afraid that things would get out of hand, so he pulled me up. In a huge aquarium, colorful tropical fish were swimming around merrily. There was also an oversized golden snail and some smaller snails crawling slowly here and there. The number 6 was engraved on the back of that big snail. It was because there was the character Lu in my name. Little 6. It was the snail I raised when I was a child. I remembered that once there was an activity in the school's nature class and we were asked to bring our own pets. I took little 6 there, but this snail actually escaped. I had always thought it was dead. While I was reminiscing, I saw Zach take out an old but cute lunchbox from the study and hand it to me. Fragmented memories came flooding back. The rooftop, the young boy, and how I felt sorry for him and gave him the remaining half of my meal. Later, I found out why Zach had been abroad all the time and why there was only Grandpa at home but no parents. A mother who suffered from postpartum depression after giving birth to him, twin boys, but only he survived. He had always been a thorn in his mother's side, a monster who took his younger brother's life. You asked me what I was doing climbing so high by myself? Actually, that day I wanted to jump off the rooftop of the school. You said, "Big brother, since you can climb to such a high place, you must be the most amazing person in the world. Could you help me find my little snail?" As a thank you gift, you gave me half of your meal and even gave me the lunchbox. Later, I said that I didn't find the little snail, but you often brought me delicious food. So, my husband was like someone I had nurtured. For me, it was a trifle whose memory had been erased by time, but for him, it was the redemption in his darkest hour. He had been following me all the way during the time when I ignored him. He went to the same junior high school, and even university as I did, but I never noticed him. Later, he went abroad. I wrote a lot of love letters, but I couldn't send a single one to you. Suddenly, he became as shy as an innocent young boy and handed a yellowed notebook to me. It was densely filled with his longing for me. This paper? I somehow felt it was a bit familiar. The love letters that Hubert sent me back then were clearly on the same kind of paper and in the same handwriting. So, that person was always you. I remembered that when Hubert held this love letter back then, I had already adored him for a long time when I was young. I had always thought that although the man I liked wasn't too enthusiastic about me, he still had feelings for me. He was just a thief. He didn't love me, but why didn't he let me go and shamelessly enjoyed my admiration and love for so many years? I used to have some feelings for him from my innocent youth, but now, I was so angry that I just wanted to tear him and Jasmine apart. Were you the one who dug up those scandals about Jasmine on the internet? I had a thought and turned to ask him. She bullied you, so she deserved some lessons. This man had been plotting for a long time and was really scheming. You're not simple either. If someone really provoked you, you wouldn't let it slide either. Were you the one who found Jasmine's ex-husband? Zach asked as he picked me up. I just curled my long hair. It's okay if she disgusted me, but she really shouldn't have gone to the ward to disgust my parents. This touched my bottom line. But the premise for me to dare to do this was that I knew Zach would be my backer in the future. When I saw Hubert again, he was lying in the ward, looking haggard. I heard that he and Jasmine had completely fallen out. Jasmine was forced by her ex-husband and had no choice but to ask Hubert for money. In the end, the two of them parted on bad terms. In a fit of desperation, Jasmine stabbed him with a knife. The Hubert family was so angry that they gritted their teeth and called the police to arrest her. She would probably have a hard time escaping prison. Do you still recognize this love letter? I didn't want to say much else to him. When Hubert saw this letter, he clearly looked guilty. Willow, let me explain. Am I so cheap in your eyes? Tasteless to keep but a pity to discard? Or is it your male chauvinism at work? Willow, I'm wrong. I've been a jerk all these years and didn't cherish you well. But it was only after you left that I realized that I liked you. It's just that I was blinded by Jasmine all these years, so, Willow, could you give me another chance? Don't abandon me. He staggered down from the hospital bed and fell to his knees in front of me. I took 2 steps back and refused to let him touch me. Willow, I can't live without you. Over the years, you've forgiven me for so many wrongdoings. This time, you'll surely forgive me too, right? He was still dreaming. He was seriously ill. Do you think I'm like you, getting married and then casually getting divorced? Hubert, the Zack family and the Willow family have joined forces now. I'm already being very polite by not targeting the Hubert family. In today's society, there's so much pressure, and it's so hard to make money. What makes you think that I'll give up my good life and revolve around a pile of shit all day long? Hubert was shocked as if struck by lightning when he heard this. He probably never expected that I would humiliate him with such an attitude and words. He deserved it. In the spring of the following year, the flowers were in full bloom. I gave birth to a baby boy smoothly. I didn't put the heavy burdens of the Willow family on him. For me, as long as he was healthy and happy, that was more important than anything else. I was a good mother, taking meticulous care of my child. Zack was also a good father. While being a good father, he healed the countless scars left by his mother's torture when he was young. At the 100-day banquet for the baby, several of my and Hubert's mutual friends also came to the banquet to send their blessings to the child. They more or less mentioned Hubert's current situation, saying that he now regretted all day long, couldn't do anything, and was like a useless person. I also heard that Jasmine was released from prison. Although Ashu helped her pay her ex-husband a sum of money back then and they cut off all ties, Jasmine is still hanging around with men and making money by selling her body. I heard it but didn't pay much attention. Until later, in an inconspicuous corner of the hotel corridor, a haggard-looking waitress accidentally broke a plate and was being reprimanded by the manager. I casually took a look and realized that the person was Jasmine. Now she no longer had the enchanting charm she used to have. She was so careful, afraid of losing even this job. She also saw me. Her eyes changed from being on guard at first, to being wary in case I held her accountable, and finally to a pleading look as if she was pretending to be pitiful. Why are you standing here in the wind? The baby is looking for you. Zack came over with our baby in his arms and affectionately kissed me on the cheek. Nothing. I thought I saw an acquaintance, so I came to take a look. But it seems I was mistaken. I took Zack's arm and bent down to kiss our baby. My heart was filled with contentment. That night, after Zack coaxed the baby to sleep and handed him over to my aunt, he took me back to our room. He took off my clothes and carried me into the bathroom. What if the baby wakes up hungry? I slapped away his mischievous hands. After 10 months of pregnancy and the confinement period, I'm starving. In the steamy bathroom, I had actually opened my heart to him long ago. The cold tiles and his passion blended together. I tightly clung to his shoulders and passionately responded to his kisses, becoming one with him. Both Zack and I are kind-hearted people. Our love took a detour, but we will eventually reach the shore of happiness.